trying to decide what we were going to read today. I was debating between doing something different and reading another Grimm's fairy tale. And I really do like the Grimm's fairy tales, and we're definitely going to continue them. But today I thought we'd do something a little different. I mentioned that I have a really strong love for poetry. But I think really what it boils down to is that I love anything that tells a story. I love television, and I love movies, and I love video games, but I love books most of all. And part of what I really like about books is the unique power it gives to an individual storyteller. And I think that of all of English history, there are a few people who really stand out the most. And one of those people is William Shakespeare. So yes, today we're going to read through a little bit of William Shakespeare. And this is actually another edition from that collectible or collection of books that I've been using so far. I've had this book for a while. It has all of his plays in it, and actually all of his sonnets as well. And I've read through a fair number of the sonnets, but we're going to focus on the plays this time around. And I'm just going to start from the beginning, like I have with everything else, and we'll see where it goes. But first of all, thank you for watching this video. For everyone who has supported me over the last month, I greatly appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, please consider subbing and clicking the notification bell so you don't miss any content in the future. I release regular content on Saturdays and Mondays for sure, and then Thursdays they were not originally supposed to be a regular content day, but they have become that for the last few weeks at any rate. If you have any suggestions, please leave a comment below, and actually just comment below anything you want to. I love talking with you guys. But now, let's take a look at this book. This book is by far the thickest book out of the collection, out of the collectible series of these books. It is also laced with the sort of gold pages. I don't know if you can kind of tell, but this book is so thick that the pages actually kind of bend in on itself because the spine of the book is so shaped. It's a curve. But on the front we have Shakespeare himself, and I think that some of the artwork is meant to convey paper, basically, or script in a sense. I'm not sure what everything on here is. It kind of just reminds me of 15th century or 16th century stuff. On the back you've got this big combination of W, fancy W, and S. Other than that, there's actually not that much going on with the cover. It's one of the more tame covers that they've used so far. I was actually surprised when I first started reading this book at how many of the poems that are in here I had never start on the first play. All of this over here is just letters and things. But this is where the stories begin. This play is titled The First Part of King Henry VI, which I guess means there's more than one part. And these are the dramatis personae, which I am guessing are just a list of the major characters. Now, Shakespeare wrote a lot in a certain meter. Iambic pentameter was a favorite of his, but I can almost guarantee you that I will not pronounce any of this or read any of this in the technically correct fashion that Shakespearean actors are taught. I'm just going to read it and do the best I can. The first part of King Henry VI, Act 1, Scene 1. The Duke of Westminster Abbey. Dead March. Enter the funeral of King Henry V, attended on by the Duke of Bedford, Regent of France, the Duke of Gloucester, Protector, the Duke of Exeter, the Earl of Warwick, the Bishop of Winchester, heralds, etc. Duke of Bedford. Hung be the heavens with black, yield day to night, comets importing change of times and states, brandish your crystal tresses in the sky, and with them scourge the bad revolting stars that have consented unto Henry's death. Henry V, too famous to live long, England ne'er lost a king of so much worth. Duke of Gloucester. England ne'er had a king until his time. Virtue he had, deserving to command. He brandished sword, did blind men with his beams. His arms spread wider than a dragon's wings. His sparkling eyes replete with wrathful fire, more dazzled and drove back his enemies than midday sun fierce bent against their faces. What should I say? His deeds exceed all speech. He ne'er lift up his hand but conquered. Duke of Exeter. We mourn in black. Why mourn we not in blood? Henry is dead and never shall revive. Upon a wooden coffin we attend, and death's dishonorable victory we with our stately presence glorify like captives bound to a triumphant car. What? Shall we curse the planets of mishap that plotted thus our glory's overthrow? Or shall we thank the subtle-witted French conjurers and sorcerers that, afraid of him, by magic verses have contrived his end? Bishop of Winchester. He was a king blessed of the King of Kings. Unto the French the dreadful judgment day so dreadful will not be as was his sight. The battles of the Lord of hosts he fought. The church's prayers made him so prosperous. Duke of Gloucester. The church, where is it? Had not churchmen prayed, his thread of life had not so soon decayed. None do you like but an effeminate prince, whom like a schoolboy you may overawe. Bishop of Winchester. Gloucester, whate'er we like, thou art protector, and lookest to command the prince and realm. Thy wife is proud, she holdeth thee in awe, more than God or religious churchman may. Duke of Gloucester. Name not religion, for thou lovest the flesh, and ne'er throughout the year to church thou goest, except it be to pray against thy foes. That's kind of funny. The Duke of Gloucester is accusing the Bishop of Winchester of never going to church except when he needs to pray against his enemies. jars, and rest your minds in peace. Let's to the altar, heralds, wait on us. Instead of gold, we'll offer up our arms, since arms avail not, now that Henry's dead. Posterity await for wretched years, when at their mother's moist eyes babes shall suck. Our isle be made a marish of salt tears, and none but women left to wail the dead. Henry V, thy ghost I invocate. Prosper this realm, keep it from civil broils. Combat with adverse planets in the heavens. A far more glorious star thy soul will make than Julius Caesar, or bright. Enter a messenger. Messenger, my honorable lords, health to you all. Sad tidings bring I to you out of France, of loss, of slaughter, and discomfiture. Akin, Champagne, Reims, Rouen, Orleans, Paris, Gisors, Poitiers are all quite lost. Duke of Bedford, what sayest thou, man? Before dead Henry's corpse speak softly, or the loss of those great towns will make him burst his lead and rise from death. Duke of Gloucester, is Paris lost? Is Rouen yielded up? If Henry were recalled to life again, these news would cause him once more yield the ghost. Duke of Exeter, how were they lost? What treachery was used? Messenger, no treachery, but want of men and money. Amongst the soldiers this is muttered, that here you maintained several factions, and whilst a field should be dispatched and fought, you are disputing of your generals. One would have lingering wars with little cost. Another would fly swift, but wanteth wings. A third thinks without expense at all. By guileful fair words peace may be obtained. Awake, awake, English nobility. Let not sloth dim your honors new begot. Cropped are the flower de luces. In your arms of England's coat, one half is cut away. Duke of Exeter, were our tears wanting to this funeral? These tidings would call forth their flowing tides. Duke of Bedford, me thy concern, regent I am of France. Give me my steeled coat, I'll fight for France. Away with these disgraceful wailing robes. Wounds will I lend the French instead of eyes, to weep their intermissive miseries. Enter a second messenger. Second messenger, lords, view these letters full of bad mischance. France is revolted from the English quite, except some petty towns of no import. The Dauphin Charles is crowned king in Reims. The bastard of Orleans will join with, let me start that sentence over. The bastard of Orleans with him is joined. Rainier, Duke of Anjou, not sure how it's pronounced, doth take his part. The Duke of Alençon flieth to his side. The Duke of Exeter, the Dauphin crowned king, all fly to him. Oh, whither shall we fly from this reproach? Duke of Gloucester, we will not fly, but to our enemies' throats. Bedford, if thou be slack, I'll fight it out. Duke of Bedford, Gloucester, why doubt'st thou of my forwardness? An army have I mustered in my thoughts, wherewith already France is overrun. Enter a third messenger. Third messenger, my gracious lords, to add to your laments, wherewith you now bid due, Kings Henry's hearse, I must inform you of a dismal fight betwixt the stout Lord Talbot and the French. What? Wherein Talbot overcame? Is so? Oh no, wherein Lord Talbot was overthrown. The circumstances I'll tell you more at large. The 10th of August last, this dreadful lord, retiring from the siege of Orleans, having full scarce 6,000 in his troop, by 23,000 of the French, was round encompassed and set upon. No leisure had he to enrank his men. He wanted pikes to set before his archers, instead whereof sharp stakes, plucked out of the hedges. They pitched in the ground confusedly, to keep the horsemen off from breaking in. More than 3 hours the fight continued, where valiant Talbot, above human thought, enacted wonders with his sword and lance. Hundreds he sent to hell, and none durst stand him. Here, there, and everywhere, enraged he flew. The French exclaimed, the devil was in arms. All the whole army stood agazed on him, his soldiers spying his undaunted spirit. A Talbot, cried out amain, and rushed into the bowels of the battle. Here had the conquest fully been sealed up, if Sir John Fastolf had not played the coward, he being in the vanguard, placed behind with purpose to relieve and follow them. Cowardly fled, not having struck one stroke. Hence grew the general rack and massacre, enclosed were they with their enemies, a base walloon to win the Dauphin's grace. Thrust Talbot with a spear into the back, whom all France with their chief assembled strength durst not presume to look one in the face. Is Talbot slain? Then I will slay myself, for living idly here in pomp and ease, whilst such a worthy leader wanting aid unto his dastard foeman is betrayed. Third messenger. Oh no, he lives, but is took prisoner, and Lord Scales with him, and Lord Hungerford. Most of the rest slaughtered or took likewise. Duke of Bedford. His ransom there is none but I shall pay. I'll hale the Dauphin headlong from his throne. His crown shall be the ransom of my friend. 4 of their lords I'll change for one of ours. Farewell, my masters. To my task will I. Bonfires in France forthwith I am to make, to keep our great St. George's feast withal. 10,000 soldiers with me I will take, whose bloody deeds shall make all Europe quake. Third messenger. So you had need, for Orleans is besieged. The English army is grown weak and faint. The Earl of Salisbury craveth supply, and hardly keeps his men from mutiny, since they so few watch such a multitude. Duke of Exeter. Remember, lords, your oaths to Henry sworn, either to quell the Dauphin utterly, or bring him in obedience to your yoke. Duke of Bedford. I do remember it, and here take my leave to go about my preparation. Exit. Duke of Gloucester. All to the tower with all the haste I can, to view the artillery and munition, and then I will proclaim young Henry king. Exit. Duke of Exeter. To Eltham will I, where the young king is, being ordained his special governor, and for his safety there I'll best advise. Exit. Bishop of Winchester. Each hath his place and function to attend. I am left out, for me nothing remains, but long I will not be Jack out of the office. The king from Eltham I intend to steal, and sit at chiefest stern of public weal. Exit. Scene 2. France. Before Orleans. Sound of flourish. Enter Charles, Alençon, and Rainier, marching with drum and soldiers. Charles. Mars his true moving, even as in the heavens, so in the earth. To this day as not known, late did he shine upon the English side. Now we are victors, upon us he smiles. What towns of any moment but we have? At pleasure here we lie near Orleans. Otherwhiles the famished English, like pale ghosts, faintly besiege us 1 hour in a month. Duke of Alençon. They want their porridge and their fat bull beeves. Either they must be dieted like mules and have their provender tied to their mouths, or piteous they will look like drowned mice. Renier. Let's raise the siege. Why lie we idly here? Talbot is taken, whom we want to fear. Remaineth none but mad-brained Salisbury, and he may well in fretting spend his gall. Nor men nor money hath he to make war. Charles. Sound alarm. We will rush on them, now for the honor of the forlorn French. Him I forgive my death that killeth me, when he sees me go back on one foot or fly. Excellent. Here, alarm. They are beaten back by the English with great loss. Enter Charles, Alençon, Renier, and others. Charles. Who ever saw the like? What men have I? Dogs, cowards, dastards. I would ne'er have fled, but that they left me amidst my enemies. Renier. Salisbury is a desperate homicide. He fighteth as one weary of his life. The other lords, like lions wanting food, do rush upon us as their hungry prey. Duke of Alençon. Froissart, a countryman of ours, records, England, all Olivers and Rowlands bred during the time Edward III did reign. More truly now may this be verified, for none but Samsons and Goliaths it sendeth forth to skirmish. 1 to 10 lean raw-boned rascals, who would e'er suppose they had such courage and audacity. Charles. Let's leave this town, for they are hair-brained slaves, and hunger will enforce them be more eager. Of old I know them rather with their teeth. The walls they'll tear down than forsake the siege. Renier. I think by some odd gimmers or device, their arms are set like clocks, still to strike on, else ne'er could they hold out so as they do. By my consent, will even let them alone. Duke of Alençon. Be it so. Enter the Bastard of Orleans. Bastard of Orleans. Where's the Prince Dauphin? I have news for him. Charles. Bastard of Orleans, thrice welcome to us. Bastard of Orleans. Methinks your looks are sad, your cheer appalled. Hath the late overthrow wrought this offence? Be not dismayed, for succor is at hand. A holy maid hither with me I bring, which by a vision sent to her from heaven, ordained is to raise this tedious siege, and drive the English forth the bounds of France. The spirit of deep prophecy she hath, exceeding the 9 sibyls of old Rome. What's past and what's to come she can descry. Speak, shall I call her in? Believe my words, for they are certain and unfallible. Charles. Go, call her in, but first, to try her skill. Renier, stand thou as Dauphin in my place. Question her proudly, let thy looks be stern. By this means shall we sound what skill she hath. Retires. Enter the Bastard of Orleans with Joan la Pucelle. Fair Renier, fair maid, is thou wilt do these wondrous feats? Joan la Pucelle. Renier, is thou that thinkest to beguile me? Where's the Dauphin? Come from behind. I know thee well, though never seen before. Be not amazed, there's nothing hid from me. In private, will I talk with thee apart? Stand back, you lords, and give us leave a while. Renier, she takes upon her bravely at first dash. Joan la Pucelle. Dauphin, I am by birth a shepherd's daughter, my wit untrained in any kind of art. Heaven and Our Lady gracious hath it pleased to shine on my contemptible estate. Lo, whilst I waited on my tender lambs, and the sun's parching heat displayed my cheeks, God's mother deigned to appear to me, and in a vision full of majesty, willed me to leave my base vocation and free my country from calamity. Her aid she promised, and assured her success. In complete glory she revealed herself, and whereas I was black and swart before, with those clear rays which she infused on me, that beauty am I blessed with which you see. Ask me what question thou canst possible, and I will answer unpremeditated. My courage try by combat if thou darest, and thou shalt find that I exceed my sex. Resolve on this, thou shalt be fortunate if thou receive me for thy warlike mate. Charles, thou hast astonished me with thy high terms. Only this proof I'll of thy valor make. In single combat thou shalt buckle with me, and if thou vanquishest, thy words are true, otherwise I renounce all confidence. Joan la Pucelle, I am prepared, here in my keen-edged sword, decked with 5 flower de luces on each side. The which, at Touraine, in St. Catherine's churchyard, out of a deal of old iron I chose forth. Charles, then come, O God's name, I fear no woman. Joan la Pucelle, and while I live, I'll ne'er fly from a man. Here they fight, and Joan la Pucelle overcomes. Charles, stay thy hands. Thou art an Amazon, and fightest with the sword of Deborah. Joan la Pucelle, Christ's mother helps me, else I were too weak. Charles, whoe'er helps thee, 'tis thou that must help me. Impatiently I burn with thee, with thy desire. My heart and hands thou hast at once subdued. Excellent Pucelle, if thy name be so, let me thy servant and not sovereign be. 'Tis the French Dauphin sueth to thee thus. Joan la Pucelle, I must not yield to any rights of love, for my profession's sacred from above. When I have chased all thy foes from hence, then will I think upon a recompense. Charles, meantime, look gracious on thy prostrate thrall. Rainier, my lord, methinks, is very long in talk. Duke of Alençon, doubtless he shrives this woman to her smocks, else ne'er could he so long protract his speech. Rainier, shall we disturb him, since he keeps no mean? Duke of Alençon, he may mean more than we poor men do know. These women are shrewd tempters with their tongues. Rainier, my lord, where are you? What devise you on? Shall we give you over Orleans, or no? Joan la Pucelle, why no, I say, distrustful recreants. Fight till the last gasp. I will be your guard. Charles, what she says I'll confirm. We'll fight it out. Joan la Pucelle, assigned am I to be the English scourge. This night the siege assuredly I'll raise, except St. Martin's summer halcyon days. Since I have entered into these wars, glory is like a circle in the water, which never ceaseth to enlarge itself, till by broad spreading it dispersed to naught. With Henry's death the English circle ends, dispersed are the glories it included. Now am I like the proud insulting ship which Caesar and his fortune bear at once. Charles, was Mahomet inspired with a dove? Thou with an eagle art inspired then. Helen, the mother of great Constantine, nor yet St. Philip's daughters, were like thee, bright star of Venus, fallen down on the earth. How may I ever worship thee enough? Duke of Alençon, leave off delays and let us raise the siege. Rainier, woman, do what thou canst to save our honors, drive them from Orleans and be immortalized. Charles, presently we'll try. Come, let's away about it. No prophet will I trust if she proves false. into it. And that is where we'll end the reading. We read the first two scenes. These pages are very long. The font is super small. And there's like 1,000 pages or more in this book. So, I'm more than happy to continue reading through Shakespeare. I think I'll probably do it kind of sparingly. It's not, it's obviously not really a mythology, but it is a fiction, and a lot of it is actually historical fiction in a sense. And so we may return to Shakespeare. I intend, I think, next week, next Saturday, to return to the Grimm's Fairy Tales. But if you do have any suggestions, or if you really like this content, let me know in the comments below. I'm happy to try that out or try something else out. I have a couple of other kind of experimental videos in the works, which will probably end up going up on Saturdays rather than the other couple of options, Thursdays and Mondays. In any case, if you guys liked this video, please subscribe to the channel, give a comment, like the video. All of those things really help out the YouTube algorithm. Also want to say thank you. We did end up getting past 190 subscribers over the last couple days. We're really close to the 200 mark, and honestly, I'm just flabbergasted at the amount of support that you guys have all shown this channel. So thank you very